Hi there, Wanda here. I am going to do the owl in the dream catcher. I had some requests after I recently did this rock for a tutorial, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did that. I'm going to start off with a tracing of the image on my rock. Now I've already traced it and I've done the outline just to save some time, so if you want to catch up to that point, you can go ahead and freeze the image and print out the owl dream catcher. Okay, and then use carbon paper to trace it onto your rock like I did here, and then go ahead and line your image. You can use black Posca or paint pen. Posca is the better. Or you can use a liner brush and a black acrylic paint. I'm going to be using Chromatech watercolor brush pens to color our picture today. Treasure Gold by Folk Art in 3081E, Mac Art nail art foil glue and light. It's a UV LED. This is a 6-watt mini light. And some transparent nail foils, various patterns. Okay, so starting from this point, I want to black out the eyes in the owl. That one might be a little too big. So I'm just going to take a dotting tool and do that. And then while they're drying, we will work on the rest of our owl. So really, you can just take, actually I might use a paintbrush. You can just paint them black or black them out. Because we're going to be adding some gold in there. And then some white dots to bring it back to life. And this rock that I'm working on is extremely bumpy. And I wanted to show you guys that you can work on a bumpy surface with foil. It is possible. Tracing and lining is a bit tricky, but it is all worth it. The lining is a bit wiggly, but I think it works with what we're doing here. Okay. So while that's drying, let's color our owl. Actually, let's do our key and let that dry too. I'm going to use the gold in the key. Color the teeth on the skeleton key. I'm also going to do the beak with the gold as well. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and black out the nostrils and then put them back in. I'm going to do the rings that are holding the feathers on in gold as well. And I'll have to do some touching up, which is expected. Okay. Okay, I'm going to start with the wooden ring that holds those are leather straps on dream catchers, I believe. And I'm going to use a ginger Chromatech watercolor pen and put in a coat of that. And this is basically going to give us the color of our wooden frame. And then we're going to go in with a dark brown Chromatech watercolor and do the aging on the wood. So around the clasp, the dots, and around the hooks, and the outside of it will be darker brown. When the watercolor pens dry, they dry a lot lighter than when you put them on. So this will be better when it's dry. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of the lemon yellow, just lift out some of that color in there, and when your tip gets dark like that, you can simply wipe it on a towel and it comes right back to normal. I'll show you how I'm doing this. Okay, so basically what you're trying to do is lift some color out of there. Okay, clean off the tip. I think you can see the ring come into life a bit with some aged areas. Okay. Now, we don't want to color any of that in there because that's open space. So we'll start with our owlie. And I'm going to do, let's see. Midnight blue up here. Violet. I'm going to move into the blue colors. Egyptian blue. And azure or azuri. I still haven't looked up how to pronounce that appropriately. Sky blue. Turquoise. Bottle green. And then down around the lower part of the face, I'm going to do amethyst. And then come back with midnight blue. Okay, I'm going to do the gold rim in my eyes. So I'm using a dotting tool. And I'll have to touch this up with a brush, but just to get my basic circle down. Okay, you don't want it big and gloppy, so go ahead and make that nice and smooth. The paintbrush. And we are going back with a black dot in the middle, so you don't have to be so concerned about the middle part. This is that golden iris that they have. We're going back with a great big black pupil. Very big bumps here, so I'm going to try to fill them in with this gold since it's pretty thick. Okay, we'll let that dry. Make sure I don't have wet paint. Okay, I'm going to start foiling while this is still bright. Watercolors have a tendency to oxidize if you don't get to them pretty quick, but if you put the foil on it, then you can save that bright color. So I'm going to pour some glue off into the well. And then get my disposable eyeliner brush. Make sure my light is plugged in and ready. I also have a flashlight that is UV LED as well, that I will be using to spot cure. Okay, I'm going to start with our ring. You want to stay in between the black lines. I'm going to spot cure here so that glue doesn't take off. This light isn't necessarily necessary, but I found it and it's handy, so I think it's 12 volt. Okay, and I'm going to use the star. Yeah, the star foil. I call that star. And then grab the areas that I missed. Okay, that's already looking beautiful. I love foil. Extra staticky foil. Okay, see, we got half done. Okay, continue your way around your dream catcher frame. Okay, that's glued and cured, and I'm just going to add the foil around the dream catcher. I think we got it all. Okay. Static. Okay. Now I'm going to go in on the face, and I'm going to do sections, leaving some of the black lines so we get separation in the feathers. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. There's just some space in between where the black is. Anyways, cure that for one cycle. Okay, I'm going to use the small crushed glass foil on these upper ear feathers. And then you can choose to do it now, or you can wait and do the touch-ups at the end. I like to do it now so I don't lose my lines. Put back your lines. Like so. And you can do this with brush or pen. I'm doing pen on tutorials to save time. Okay. Next section. With foils, you really want to cover anywhere you put watercolor really well with a foil, because it will bleed when you seal it. So it's really a great idea to do a good job covering your feathers. Okay, one cycle. Okay, I chose these little disc circles for the cheeks. Okay, so I have this foil here, and I'm going to use it in the beard feathers, kind of in an up and down. I'm going to go sideways that way, and then sideways this way. See if we get a little bit of, I don't know, fun, beardy, feathery looking. And then go ahead and add back in your lines. Sorry, get off camera there. So here there's some around the eyes. Okay, now we can add back in our nostrils. And then give some little hairs up here at the tippy top of the nose. Beak. Okay, so the other side is mirror image, so you can go ahead and work on that side. So it's the small crushed glass foil on the upper ear part, horn, and then the circular discs part on the cheeks. Okay, let's do the wings here. Oops. How about we paint it first? Oh my gosh, right? Okay, you can fix a mistake by taking some acetone or alcohol. Today it's going to be alcohol. Like so. It's okay because we're going to be putting some back in there, but it does need to be painted first. Silly me. All right, let's go in here with bottle green. So I'm basically doing the very outer edges of the wing in bottle green. And I'm mirroring it, so I'll be doing both sides the same. So bottle green, outer part amethyst next. And then a tad bit of lemon yellow. Now, okay, so you want to stay in your wing area, but give it some of the feather definition. So I'm going to go in sections on this one with the curing. So I'm going to do the areas I did green first. and cure that. Okay, then do the inner part. That way we have some separation, definition here. You see that definition in there? Okay. Now, I'm going to pick a bigger, different foot. You know, I think I'm going to use the stars. I like those. Okay. Let's put that right there. Try using the right side of the foil. Hey, we're all human. Okay. And then add back in your lines. Go around there, and then this has long wing feathers. Like that. It's coming together. Starting to look beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do the belly, which is the funnest part. Oh no, gotta color it. I just want a foil. I'm crazy ahead of myself today. What color do we want to do the belly? I think I'll do blue. So the bottom, I want Egyptian blue. And if you hear talking in the background, that's my husband teaching my son. He's homeschooled. And they're reading a book. I think it's Marley and Me. It's actually a pretty cool book. Okay, and then yellow. Yeah. This is fluorescent yellow. And it's going to turn it green, which is great. So we're blending that blue with the yellow. And then that'll take away that colored look, you know, like we did it with a marker. And give some flashes of color, which make it look like, you know, when you see a bird and they take off and one, I guess it's like a color flash, yeah. One side's like green, then it looks blue. So we've got some definition there. And when we put the foil on that, it's going to pop. So with the foils, we're going to do each little section like so. If you come across a part that's particularly bumpy, put a little more glue in there, cure it. Look at the fluorescent glow. I love it. Fluorescent is cool. Okay. And work your way around your diamonds. Okay, so work your way across the belly. Okay, for the belly, I want to use the larger crushed glass looking foil. Okay. Very good quilted look. Okay, I started up here on the other wing, so I'm going to go ahead and finish that with the star looking one. Okay, touch up your lines, your feathers, bring them back. I love it. It's like dragon scale. Okay, and then we gotta do our wing. And we've got shoulder feathers. Okay, our alley's looking good. Okay, tail feathers, talons, and dangling feathers. So the tail feathers, I'm going to also use what I put in, no I'm not. Tail feather, I'm going to use a plain one. That way we can see the colors in the feathers. I'll be using this one on the tail feather. Alright, color your tail feathers any way you like. I'm going to go with midnight blue on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and hit our talons here real quick with ginger. Just not the whole parts, just parts. And then lemon, no, fluorescent Where'd I put it? Fluorescent yellow. And then put some knuckles. Dot, dot. Okay. Midnight blue and turquoise. And then I'm going to get a green, greener green, grass green. Okay, let that dry and apply your foil like we've been doing. And again, I'm going to put on a plain holographic foil so we can see the definition there. And I'm going to color these feathers here. You know, I think I'm going to do some black in there and orange. Put some orange in here. This is Fluorescent Orange by Chromatech. I'm just doing the light first and then I'll add to it. I'm going to put some red. Okay, and then touch up okay, for the little baubles. So it's basically a leather tied area. I'm going to use brown, but a sienna. And because I have touched this with watercolor, I will need to add a foil there as well. So I'll probably use the same that I put on the tail. Okay, start your foiling. Remember the separation. Okay, I'm going to flash cure that. Match the other side. Okay, foil's on. Put your definition back in. Bring your feathers back. Here we've got the string down. And oops, I missed a talon. Haha. Okay. And then there's the fluffy tail feathers. Like so. I will need to touch up and add a foil here to this talon I missed. See there? That spot. And then I'm going to foil our feathers and finish the eyes. Start with the talon. Just a little bitty spot here. And I did the talons with, it's our stars foil. Where did I put that? Nope. Here it is. It's so clear I almost couldn't find it. See, it has some stars on it. I used it because it's very clear. That way we could see the knuckles. Okay, feathers, the dangle feathers. When we're done, I'm going to show you how I seal when I use watercolor and Posca pen, because it's not as simple as just putting some resin on it if you want it not to bleed. So if you have a brush on Duraclear, even Mod Podge, something like that, Sargent acrylic gloss is good. We'll be using that to do a seal before we seal. And don't forget, if you colored your ties at the top of your feathers, to hit it with a glue so you could foil it as well. Pretty cool glow, huh? And these feathers, I'm going to also use those stars. Right up to the, oh, that's right. And up there, I'm going to use the plain. I know it's not much of a difference, but you can see the stars and the feathers. And I like that. All right, so continue those two. Okay, when you're done, we're going to put the life back in our owl. Let's get a dotting tool so we can put some black dots in there. And we're going to make these sort of up at the top, sort of, I think. I hope. Like that. Yeah, good. Don't mess with it. Let that dry. And then we'll put the white. Okay, while we are waiting for our pupils to dry, I've poured off just a very small amount of Duraclear High Gloss varnish into a little medicine cup deal. And I'm going to seal our Posca and watercolors. Basically, you're just painting your entire owl. And be careful of your eyes if you're doing it with me, so they're still wet. So I'm going right up to the edge of the rock. The reason I'm not going on the rock with it just yet is because I don't want it to bleed onto the rock. That's why I'm sealing it in. I will do a coat after this is dry over the whole thing. But this is just to prevent the bleeding. Because watercolor, even though it's covered, there's still little spots that didn't get covered with the foil. See, and you can kind of see how the Posca bleeds just a bit. So you just want to do a light coat, just so we can stop it from going anywhere. And then when you're done with that, you're going to spray it Krylon 2X. Remember, little bit, not so much that it will bleed all over the place. Okay, so finish doing that with your owl. Okay, so I have done my sealing, and I noticed that I forgot the forehead on my owl, or the tippy top, the bald head. So you want to definitely do that. And I'm going to hit that with violet. And I will cure that with some glue and add a foil. And while that's drying, I'll add the dots to our eyes, the white. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial here today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and then like it if you liked it. The bells will give you a notification when I'm uploading. Okay, white dot there, mirror it on the other side, white dot there. Go smaller white dot down here, here, and then you can do the swoosh, dot and drag, dot and drag. I'm not so much into that, so I'll probably cover it up, but there is a swoosh in the original, like so. And our owlie is pretty much done. Finish this little forehead. Oops, I must have cured my glue. Oh, the sun did. How funny is that? I forgot my windows open. Another thing, it's UV, okay? UV, sunshine. See the sun in my bowl here? It will cure your glue and make your stuff hard to work with. So keep it out of the sun. Oh, lessons learned, eh? Like so. Just stick that in the sun for 10 minutes. No, quickly. And I'm going to take this to my kitchen under my lights so you guys can see the magic. I want to show you guys how to add rhinestone, which I'm sure most of you have seen me do this. Anyways, pick out your rhinestone. I love these new black ones that I got. And, you know, map out your area where you want them. And then you can use your UV light to glue them on there. It's pretty cool. I got all these new rhinestones. And they are gorgeous. See how pretty? Okay, so I have these other rhinestones, and it's sort of like a set stone. I'm going to use those instead. There's some that are AB and some that are clear, so it's going to take me a minute to dig them out, so I'm going to pause. Yeah, I may just do a few around. Okay, I think I'm just going to set the one stone. It's too busy when you put them all up there. So to set it, you can use your glue or you can use UV top coat. And because I'm going to resin this, I'm just going to use my glue. So apply a little glue to the bottom. Stick it where you want it. And hit it with your UV. Yep, it's there, not going nowhere. Okay, I'm going to take you to the kitchen lights. Okay, we are in my kitchen. And there is our owl. Now you can spray it with Krylon 2X matte just to ensure it's not going anywhere, and then resin as usual, or you can resin right from this point. It's up to you. I made a boo-boo right there. But anyways, that is how I did the owl dream catcher. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.